Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about suicide. Now, suicide. Now, it comes from a lot of phrases you can mix with pseudoscience and soothing. You know what I'm saying? Something that's soothing, something that's, you know what I'm saying? And it's inside, because suicide, it's inside, or it's in a side of a thing, or it's a side of a spectrum, or a side of a light spectrum that you may have received, you know what I'm saying, that you may not want to be a part of anymore. It can go into many luminaries and different words, but before we get into that kind of shit, people will be like, oh, you just mixing words, whatever like that. So no, we're not going to get into that. What we're going to get into is the actual concept of suicide and why a person feels like they need to commit suicide. Now, for the sake of even dying or killing yourself or killing someone and transforming this vessel, basically, ultimately, for you to have a body and to be on earth in this vessel, your spirit chose to experience. Now, in order to experience in this realm of reality, you need motion, movement, experience. So experience is going to take a soul. It's going to take some form of fluid that you have, some form of vibration from your frequency. Then once your idea, aka frequency, aka spirit, becomes into a realm of reality, aka an illusion, aka a vibration, then you're able to have your idea be immersed into a soul. Now your idea can flow through a realm of reality. Now once your ideas start to flow through a realm of reality, what matters to you and the energy that it carries and the more weight it adds to it is able to become into density. So and to experience this realm of reality is a form of dense physicality. You need a soul to experience. So a lot of times you have spirit beings out here, soulless beings out here that want to experience this realm of reality, but since they don't have a soul, a lot of times they use your vessel, they use your movement, they use your soul, they use your experiences in your life in order for them to experience. So they attach themselves to the people and the people who have a natal chart that aligns to the best frequency vibration of the experience that they want to choose to experience. And since they don't have a soul, they're going to use your dumb ass as a motherfucking vessel. Now check this out. Now when we get to talking about suicide, suicide is someone who wants to cancel and end their experience in this realm of reality. Now the reason why I say, because in this realm of reality, it's so left brain, the logical aspect to look at death or suicide is to automatically think that it's ultimately bad. But the reason why I say there's a positive suicide and there's a negative suicide, because there's a positive to everything. And anytime you go too far on the balance scale of a polar, which is polar opposites, anytime you go too over on one balance scale, there's an imbalance. And if we living in an earth where I don't care how serious the realm of reality that was created is, I don't care how serious or detriment it may appear to be. If it seems like there's a polar shift into one spectrum of the balance scale of it, then something's not right there. And if you want to take the concept of death, look how everyone think of death. There's no one who think of death like it's a good thing. I don't care if someone killed themselves for a positive matter or killed themselves for a good matter. It's always going to be seen overall as a negative aspect. So I don't care how serious that realm of reality may appear to y'all to be. There's a polar shift. There's an imbalance. It's probably 98/99% of the world that look at death as ultimately negative. So I don't care. That realm of reality, it seems crazy, right? But it's still unbalanced. See, it's because it's a wrong concept about death, and whatever intellectual beings is trying to make y'all think the way y'all think about death is putting y'all in circumstances where it's putting y'all in the realm of reality that it wants you to be. So you have to be very careful on what you're paying attention to, giving your spirit to, and what you're giving time and energy to, which is your soul, your experiences to. Now, for a person, now let's talk about the negative and the positive attributes of committing suicide. Now, see, 9 times out of 10, now when you commit suicide for something externally, whether it's a person, place, or thing, this going to evolve into a negative trait. When you commit suicide for something that was inner in your yin world, internally, then this become a positive trait. Because here's what happens. When you kill off and transform this vessel, commit suicide, you're killing, transforming this external vessel in order for a benefit for the yin, the internal. So you're canceling something yang, something someone can consciously see. You're canceling this off for the benefit of something in the yin, in the internal. So that's a positive charge. Remember, you can't give two negative charges. Or two positive charges. Can't be two of the same charges. New energies don't grow. You need two different charges. That's the way this world works. Beyond this realm of reality. You see what I'm saying? That transcends. Then, for a person to kill themselves for something externally, they're killing their external, what people are consciously aware of, for something external, whether that's a person, place, or thing. So you're killing yourself. You're killing what people are consciously aware of. You're transforming. You're canceling what people are consciously aware of for the sake of what other people are consciously aware of. And that's two charges. If yang is positive, if what you're consciously aware of is positive, and then you cancel this off, you kill this for the sake of another positive charge, something else external, another person, place, or thing, then that's two positive charges. Anytime two of the same charges come together, nothing bad comes out of it. Just more density and weight into the same realm of reality of that aspect. You see what I'm saying? So what happens here is when a person on a negative attribute kill themselves, a lot of times it's because something externally affected them, whether it's a person, place, or thing, and they couldn't deal with it in the yang realm anymore. They couldn't consciously deal with it anymore, and it constantly fucks with their internal. So they rather not experience it externally and just want to be there internally. But see, when they tie that to a person, place, or thing, here's what happens. The energy end up getting reciprocated, because here's ultimately what the person wants to do. The person wants the attention, or wants someone else to feel, or wants someone else to experience what this person is experiencing. And when this person go and commit suicide, they actually, when they soul leave, their soul actually attaches itself to the external things that this person was actually trying to affect by killing themselves. And since we know killing yourself holds such a big energy and a negative energy in this realm of reality, then we know when you actually do it, it's going to emit off a large amount of energy. So we know when a person commits suicide, any kind of letter they leave, any kind of gestures they do, any kind of thing that they did before they committed suicide, either they went on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and committed suicide, they're placing their internal as a representation for something outside of them, something external. So they want their death to affect something external. So ultimately, this ends up being bad, because when your experience, that your affection goes up, and when you cancel this off and your affection leave, it locks on to the things that you was trying to affect externally. So your soul can't even leave this realm of reality. So basically, when a person commits suicide and wants someone else to feel affected about it, they don't actually want to leave this realm of reality, but they don't want to consciously live in this realm of reality. They don't want to consciously deal with what's going on in this realm of reality, but they don't actually want to leave this realm of reality. That's ultimately what it be. And a lot of these people turn into ghosts. A lot of these people become stuck between realms. A lot of these people can't go. And a lot of times, these people's family and these people's circumstances and surroundings don't even let them go. So that attack, their body is dissipated. They canceled this, and now they just here in the yin realm, but they're in the physical realm, in this 3D realm, being non-physical. So they're able to utilize the yin realm power, but can't effectively express it because they're in a realm of reality that needs density, that needs experience and time to actually be brought into physicality and matter and energy. And when you dissipate your energy, which is the third aspect, your body, your vessel, and you're just running around as a spirit, and then you're not even able to go back to the spirit, so you can actually fly off and go to where you really want to go. As a spirit, as your idea, your space is still attached to this realm of reality fluid, this realm of reality experiences, because you attached your soul and your affection to, and you attached it towards things in this realm of reality, in this density, in this 3D realm. So your soul can't leave, so your spirit can't leave, because your spirit is still attached by the fluid and the motions of the realm of realities and the illusions amongst this realm, earth realm. So it's like your soul's still here without a body, and that's not the point. When you die, Your soul's supposed to be light enough so it can leave this realm of reality. If your soul heavy, that means when you died, whether you committed suicide or got killed, you had a lot of experiences. You attached a lot of emotional weight to yourself. You attached a lot of worry, a lot of depression, a lot of stress, a lot of times being down, and stuff like that. You attach when all that is on your fluid, on your soul, on your movement, on your motion, then when you die, that's your soul. So when it leaves the physical, a lot of times the fluid that is in the earth realm of reality. And if you tied your expressions and your worries and all this stress because of external things, then those things are keeping your soul here, because your soul is attached to these things, and your soul won't be light enough in weight. It won't be light enough to float up out of this realm of reality and go back to just the idea of you to the spirit, so you could come back and control how you come back here and be spiritually inclined. That's why a lot of people come back here and still be in the same circumstances, in the same situation, and still experiencing the same experiences that they experienced in the past life. And you may be looking at it now like, well, how do I know I'm experiencing something that I experienced from the past life? Because your emotions and your feelings going to be involved. That's why you can go somewhere that you never been before in this realm of reality, and you could be like, man, it felt like I've been here before. It felt like I experienced this. You have. Your soul and your spirit traveled there before in another vessel, in another being. And then when you went to that same area, whether it was internally or externally, when you went to that same area, you started to get reminded of the mechanisms and the particles and the fucking quantum fields that represented that energy, that reminded you that you was there probably 1,000 years ago in another vessel. You see what I'm saying? So what happens here is you get reminded. So look at all your experiences that you're experiencing now, and look at all the experiences that bother you, that worry you, right? These are things you need to learn, because it wouldn't bother you. When you got a talent, a gift, when you know how to do something, it don't bother you to do that. You go everywhere and around the world and country to do what you know how to do. If you know how to preach, you know how to teach, whatever, that don't bother you to do that. So if a person getting paid to do what they love to do, that's one of the best jobs in the world. But when you look at all the experiences that bother you. You're doing things you don't want to do. Things bother you. A lot of worry, external things right here. So these are things that you need to learn in this lifetime that you may not have learned in the past lifetime. And the way it was represented in the past lifetime may have been in different ways, in different realms of realities, different physicalities, different perceptions. So that's how it was perceived. But in this realm of reality, it's perceived maybe in things of negative people around you, enemies, or bills, or being stressed out, or circumstances and situations. It's going to play out in that. But how you know it represents the same realm of reality? Because your emotional stance on it is still the same. It still makes you feel negative. It still makes you feel worried. It still makes you feel stressed out. So that's a trait you carried from the past life, and you need to do it in this life, just in this way, the way these senses and vessel appear to be, which is smell, touch, taste, and these senses. You know what I'm saying? When the senses in a lower being, whether it's a bug or whatever like that, they have more senses, more eyes, more things, more experiences. So it's not that they're above you, it's that they're in a lesser, they perceive less than you, because it takes more things for them to get from point A to point B. It takes more eyes for them to see clearly. It takes more legs for them to get from here. The lesser is, the lighten your load. And you see the physical representations of who's a higher being and who's a lower being is by the lighter the load. And when the frequency of a lightened load gets into a vibration and motion and becomes energy and becomes into matter and solid, when it plays out in physical representations on Earth, it's going to play out in beings with the lesser things. And if you look at the human in this realm of reality, we're higher on the totem scale because it takes us less things to do to get from point A to point B. We know how to get to that area faster than an animal maybe can. We know how to create thought processes and realm of realities faster than this species can. Now, it may be things that they can do that we can't do, but that's because what they're perceiving and the realm of reality that they're in is in a different vessel, different senses. So those senses might be apparent for them, and since we don't have those senses, it may appear to be like something like, oh, that's something we can't do. But technically, that might be not something that your vessel even technically needs. And you being a human species right here, you're the highest vessel antenna amongst this earth right now. You know what I'm saying? As a vessel, as a physical, as solid. You got a lot of other spiritual beings here that's not solid, and they're going to use your ass to become solid because you knew how to come in and utilize the vessel that a lot of these intellectual beings manuscripted and engineered from all the substance that they created this earth with, which is all the feelings, emotions, hormones, the practicality, the physicality, all the things of the earth. See what I'm saying? So when a person commits suicide, and anytime a person commits suicide and they leave a letter or they do something to affect something external, to affect a person, place, or thing externally, they're going down. They're adding weight, because not only are they depressed themselves, they want other people to be depressed. They want other people to catch the blame. They want other people to feel like they done something and the reason why this person killed themselves. They want other people to feel guilty for that. They want other people to feel like, dang, if I would have never told this person that, or if I would have never beat this person up, maybe they wouldn't have killed themselves. They try to throw everything on you. So that's adding more power to the fluid in this realm to attach their soul. Because now that you experiencing and attaching your soul to that vibration, they may not ever leave. And these motherfuckers will hunt you. They will hunt you. Cause they getting hunted, them got themselves by the experience, by the external physical experiences that they took, that they canceled from themselves, and when they try to attach that and affect others by it, they get hunted by that shit without even a body. So now they running around experiencing the same thing over and over again. Same way how they killed themselves, the same world, like remember what I said in my previous videos? The inner world is the same world like the outer world that you see. Those are distances and locations and places you can go. Also, you just can fly there. You can fly in that realm. That's what they talking about, flying. You ever sat back and felt so good you said, man, I feel like I'm flying? You flying. That's you flying. You ain't gonna be able to fly in this physical form unless you put it in time and experience each and every day. And that's what I'll be trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But for the sake of the joke factors, that's what flying is. In this external realm, it's gonna take external things. We're gonna have to learn from the internal and create it externally for that could be the representation of the examples of we know how to fly. So externally, yeah, where do you think we learned how to create planes and spaceships and shit from? We learned that from the internal, because we've been flying. We've been flying to these places, but we received the information and externally put it out, and that's our power. We create our own heavens and hells. But when you cancel yourself from this realm of reality based upon perceptions created from other people externally outside of you, you get attached and you become a ghost. You become, technically in hell. And please don't be in no religion or something that's telling you you're gonna burn in fire for the rest of your life, because that's the experience you're gonna actually create from yourself. If you in a religion, right, and say it says this is a sin, right, and then when you do that sin, you start to experience all the emotions from what they say it happened if you do that sin. So if they say if you do this sin, you're gonna feel like this, you're gonna go to this place. So when you do this sin, and it was just, say this sin was this part of your spiritual nature, and you gotta fight it every day. You gotta motherfucking fight it. So off the back, you're gonna be questioning yourself like, why I gotta fight this? Why this? Then you constantly failing and falling short from that God that you love every day. In that realm of reality, you constantly falling short every day. So then ultimately what happens is, when this God don't give you or exactly what you want, then you fall short and you're like, oh man, now I'm in this realm of reality or this, that, and the third, and you want to go kill yourself or things of that nature. And I'm missing a point. I just had a point. Hold on, let me get back to that point, because I'll be rambling a lot. I want to get back to that point real quick. Yeah, so when you give yourself into a religion, and the religion got this sin, and if you do it, and they tell you everything that's gonna happen if you do this sin, and if this sin is like part of your nature, and you gotta fight it every day because your spirit ain't part of that God that created that intellectual world, right? And then since you're up under it based upon how you was raised or whatever experiences you in, right, you're gonna feel like you're fighting something, right? So you're fighting this every day, so you're falling short every day, right? So you're committing this sin, right? So now you committing the sin. So now you attaching all the emotions and the feelings from how people are going to look at you from committing the sin, from how that Bible, whatever it said you was going to commit that sin, right? So ultimately, when you carrying all that baggage and weight on you, when you die, whether you commit suicide or not, when you die, that's the experience you're going to create for your soul. And like I said, when you attach your inner, your soul, your experiences to anything external, things that you see external is part of this realm, this earth realm. It's not outside of this realm. I don't see you tying your emotions and feelings to your own inner self, to knowing thyself, to the true God. I see you tying your emotions and feelings to things outside of you, things you got no goddamn control over. So when you put that here and you do that in existence, that's where your soul gonna stay. So if your soul in a realm of reality talk about it's gonna burn in fire, which fire only looks like that on earth. Fire don't even look like that in space. Fire don't look like that nowhere else but earth, because of the representation and the relationship that earth and fire has from each other. When you put heat on something material or physical and rub it together, it causes friction and it could cause a fire. So on earth, that's the only place you're gonna see fire looking like that. You're not gonna see fire as really electricity, a spark. You see what I'm saying? So to even have a flame or to have a passion, you have to have some earth quality there. And in earth, and as a human representation, that's going to play out as in wanting something material or seeing something more an expression here on earth that you can match to your expression or your inner passions. And that's the only way, the friction, that people are going to see your flame or to see something burning, see a person who's inspirational, has passion, because they're on earth taking their inner self and giving their expression to something that's external. So that's their inner fire coming to something external, earth, physical, and cause friction. People get to see a flame, people get to see a fire, but it don't even be technically a fire. As through a human vessel, it look like shit like inspiration, it look like shit like passion. You know what I'm saying? It look like shit like expression. You see what I'm saying? This is the spirit realm right here, what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? So when you want to talk about a person who even put all their emotions and feelings inside of a book, a religion, and if that book and religion tell you you're gonna burn in fire, then when you commit these sins and die or commit suicide, that's where your soul gonna be attached to these things. And I'm here to tell you, as Archangel Uriel, those things you attaching it to don't even leave outside of earth. And I'm gonna tell you right now, God ain't nowhere near around the things you attaching it to. So you're gonna be further away from God than you ever think you was in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Stop attaching your inner soul to things external. And that's the negative aspect of suicide. Now let's get to the positive aspect of suicide. Now, here's how you can tie to the aspect of, well, how is suicide positive? These be the people who commit suicide who they don't leave no letters. They be missing. They ain't call nobody. Nobody heard from them in a couple days. They didn't want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And this is a positive suicide, because here's what happens. 9 times out of 10, people who even commit suicide like that already been on a kind of spiritual path of detaching themselves from their family, friends, or their surroundings anyway. So they already was kind of people that was distant and already be alone. So when something do happens and they disappear, it takes a while for other people to realize, because them people are not here physically. They're not here. And when the mind leaves first, then the physical leave. It's never the physical leaving first. When the physical leave first, that's negative. That's backwards. That's when a person killed themselves for something externally, right? So they kill the body first before the inside. And then that's two of the same charge.